Historians swear blind that back around the 6th century, St. Finbarr founded Cork. And maybe he did. But the old people in our street tell it differently. Seemingly, Finbarr set out from Dublin in the footsteps of St. Patrick. He was heading south to Cork, but along the way, or so they say, he lost his way. Spent 6 months wandering around the Bog of Allen, living on wild mushrooms and berries, fought off feral hedgehogs, rabbits and hares. Eaten alive he was by wazzies and midges, scarred and blistered from head to toe by gorse, nettle and blackthorn. And as my dad put it, what that man went through made an eternity in St. Patrick's purgatory seem like a week in Butlins. Starving, delirious, and just at the point when Finbarr thought God had forsaken him, didn't he poke his head through a gap in a bush at a place known locally as Finbarr's View. There laid out before him was the majestic, beautiful Lee Valley. His fading eyes focused on a bustling little market town on an island centred in a crystal clear stream. Finbarr had found Cork. Or as my dad said, 'twas a few lads from our street found Finbarr and he was a lucky man that they did. Legend has it that the saint spent his first night across the street where now stands the Ashley Hotel. Next morning, after a good night's sleep in a feathered bed and a fine feed of pig's head, they brought the saint up to the top of our street where my friend Jimmy Sullivan's great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, give or take a few greats like, gave him a cut and a shave. Because as my dad put it, when you're trying to persuade people to change something as fundamental as their gods, presentation is half the battle. Anyway, what I'm getting to is, generations of us Credans have been getting our hair cut by generations of O'Sullivans. As a young boy in short pants, I'd drive into Jimmy's dad, Tommy, with a note from my mam with the strict instructions, let the bone be your guide. Tommy would bridge the armrests with a plank and invite me to sit up. There's something comforting knowing that long before I was born, my grandfather had sat on the very same board. An intimacy develops between men in a barber shop. It's a place where we congregate without smokescreen or glass to hide behind. A place where great sporting moments become greater with every retelling and also-rans are still running. A place where heads meet. A place where boys become old men and old men become boys again. But above all, the barbershop is a place where men talk. And talk is free when treated with the confidentiality of a confessional. And every milestone of my life, be it my first day at school, first communion, first date, first job, has always been marked by a visit to O'Sullivan's barber's chair. A bit like a recurring rite of passage. There is a magic in the relationship that develops over generations. Yet ours is a relationship that is seldom explored beyond the confines of the barber's chair. For the most part, Credans and O'Sullivans only ever see eye to eye in a mirror. Although there was that time, 10, 15 years ago or so, when totally out of the blue, me and my dad went for a day's fishing with the Sullivans. I could ramble on about fishy tales and the ones that got away, but suffice to say, it was a magical day. One of those you just file away. And when all was said and done, it was just me and my dad driving home into the setting sun. He was glowing, in full flight, telling me all about the day St. Finbarr was found in Cork. He said that Finbarr came with a mission. One nation, one people, one God. But back then, we Corkonians had a God for every change in the weather, so Finbarr compromised and offered the Trinity package. In a lull in the conversation, I asked my dad if he thought it was difficult for St. Finbarr to convince the people of Cork to change their gods. God's sake, he said, not at all. We Corkonians did not change our gods, not at all. We only changed their names.